My name is Sabina Maloba, and there's nothing much to talk about Sabina because to me, I believe that Sabina is a person that learns every day. As the day goes by, I come to learn something new. Something else about me is that Sabina is a simple girl. I don't like to complicate myself unless it's something that will bring a positive impact to my life or to my future. That's when I can do complication. The other thing about Sabina is I like to socialize with people because socializing with people makes me understand how people work in this world. And I also learn if I can easily work with them or not. Many people dream big. For some, being a professional announcer is big enough. Let's take a look at what it takes for you to become a professional announcer. Today I'm privileged to interview one of the charismatic and outstanding journalists here at K24 who also happens to be a Daystar alumni, Mr. Wafula. Thank you very much for your time. Now, briefly tell us about your academic history.
I started off at Carroll Academy, that's for my primary education. Went to Gilgil Senior School, and by this time I'd already known that I wanted to join Daystar University because I'd always wanted to study communication. So back in 2010 I joined Daystar University, that was in May semester. I joined at the River campus and later on I graduated in 2014. But whatever happened between the years is what I'd attribute to sort of my growth in the industry, because I had a chance to work at Shine FM for about 3 years, and that was the best experience I ever got because I used to work as news anchor reporter and as well do a weekly show which was called Man Cave. And that is how, after that actually, because of Daystar's requirement to do internship, I had a chance to apply to different places. Fortunately, I had KTN managed to select me for the internship process, which is a 3 months program, just on a little stipend. And then after that, then I got into, after my 3 months were over, they asked me if I was willing to volunteer for an extra period, which they didn't specify. So I decided to volunteer. I did that for 3 months, and then I got employed. It's a success story that I managed to be employed way before I graduated. I was among the youngest employers in the company.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you think going through all that, the course you studied up to now, do you think it's relevant to the market job that you are in now?
I would say times have changed a bit. I don't know how the curriculum is right now, but there's a lot of technology involving the media industry, from digital content and from digital also transmission of the channels. So this has really shaped the way the industry works. Right now, you cannot do a news bulletin without incorporating social media, and half the time when you even go on air, majority of the people who are on social media already know what is happening. So that is why you can tend to see that most channels have changed their programming to have news during the day, and then the night news, which used to summarize everything, is sort of dilute, because by this time people in the entire nation know what is happening. So actually I think that the next challenge for the communication field is to change the curriculum to include the new means of media communication.
Tell me, before you became a news anchor, what are the other positions that you once held in the broadcasting field?
We start from basically as an intern. At this point, the editors do not know what exactly you want to do in the newsroom. So there's the option to, become a camera journalist, that is a camera person. There's the option of becoming a photographer, reporter, and there's the option of becoming a news producer and an editor as well. So what I started with was as an intern reporter, and that was at KTN, and then it took me about 1.5 years before I got on air for my first bulletin. So the next step was news anchor, and now I am a news anchor reporter. I report whenever the newsroom or my editors require me to do so.
So how important do you feel the practical experience is to you now?
Actually, if you look at my grades, to be honest, I performed way better in my practical classes as compared to the theoretical classes. I'm not more of a theory person. So I would say, for instance, in Daystar, perhaps they should change the curriculum a bit so that the practical classes start at in your second year, because that's what matters. And you know, our industry, other than the papers, while they're important, it's more of your talent, your ability. It's more skill based than it is with your papers, if you get what I mean. So it should be more practical than it is theoretical.
You have been working for many years?
I started working in 2013.
2013.
I'm not like so old in the industry, let me just not lie to you.
Okay.
But I've gotten quite some experience than some that I've found in the media, and that is, I just say it's by luck and through God's blessings, to be honest.
Do you think now from 2013 up to now, have you reached the peak of your career?
No, I've not. Because I used to do a lot of reporting. Right now I'm focusing on my news anchoring. I hardly report nowadays because I'm in studio most of the time. So now that I built my reporting skills, because I did some of the, if you go on YouTube and see some of the work I did some of the biggest documentaries that I could do in my capacity. For instance, the expose I did on the Garissa University, it's called Terror Foretold. It was one of my biggest investigative stories that I ever did, and also more successful because immediately after I aired that story, the entire Garissa County security team was fired because we found out that, you know, they had the information about the attack but they didn't do anything. So you can watch that and see. In terms of reporting, I think I got to a point where I wanted to be. But in terms of news anchoring, I'm yet to get to do prime news, which I do once in a while. And I'm yet to do some of the biggest interviews that I'd like to do. So I'm still building that skill.
So if you were to do it all over again, would you still go for news anchoring or something else?
I think I would. And the misconception out there is that news anchoring is everything. There's a lot more to journalism than just news anchoring. Look at news anchoring as just reading scripts that other people have written.
I've heard what Ian Wafula has said. Well, do you think you have all that it takes for you to become that outstanding professional announcer? This has been Let's Talk Show, and I've been your host, Sabina Maloba.